Great week. Enjoying the fall weather, if that's a thing where you live. Definitely a thing here. We're actually coming to the end of all the beautiful foliage here where I live. So it's kind of sad to see it all falling from the trees, but it was great for the week or so that it lasted, which is good. But this week, I want to try and tackle a topic that I often have wanted to tackle in the past, but have been reluctant to do so because it's a complicated topic that I'm not sure that I can address, um, in a way I think it needs to be addressed. And it might just be my perfectionist mindset getting in the way of me. So, but I did send out an email survey to my newsletter a few weeks ago. Got a lot of responses back, and I appreciate everyone who responded back. But a lot of the responses included wanting more information around how to construct kind of like a resistance training, strength training exercise program, what they should be doing, that type of stuff. And the reason why this is hard to do is not because I think it's overly complicated on how to put something together. It's just the concepts are simple, but the options are on how to implement those concepts are vast, and it's the amount of options that actually makes this kind of a complicated situation. It's much like diet, where you can kind of tell someone to eat a whole foods diet, for example, but what that looks like in practice for them is an endless amount of things, right? Um, so I'm going to attempt to try and give some direction in this area because I think it's one, very important, and two, um, it's obviously something people want. So I wanted to kick off this kind of video series that I think I'm going to do or attempt to do with kind of the essentials, right? Resistance training essentials, I'm going to call it, right? This is just the basic stuff that I think you want to do in a strength slash resistance training program. And then from here, we'll kind of try and dive into what each one of these different things looks like and how you might incorporate them into an exercise kind of program. So today, I'm just going to start off with the movements that you want to do, right? Now, for almost every single one of these things, there are variations you can do, right? So I'm going to mention a general movement, and it's more like a pattern, right? So the pattern can be reproduced in various different ways. So don't confuse what I'm about to say with something that's very specific. It's actually very general. So think of these more as patterns as opposed to exercises per se, right? So the first thing, and my personal favorite, is to pick stuff up, right? And this is often equated to something like a deadlift, right? In a deadlift, you are picking a weight off the floor. This is my favorite exercise variation. I love picking stuff up off the floor, and it's highly effective, and it works a whole bunch of muscles. And if there's one exercise I think that everyone should do, it's a deadlift. My bias. But the first thing is number one is picking stuff up off the floor. And all of these can translate into things that you're going to do, even if your goal is not to really build muscle or be a bodybuilder or whatever. These are all things that you should be able to do, and they translate to things that you should be able to do in your life and you want to be able to do in your life until the day you die. So this is why this is important. The next one is squat stuff, right? You want to sit down in a chair and stand back up. That's like the basic squat, right? And it's sad to think about today that how many people struggle with sitting down in a chair and then getting back up out of the chair. So squatting stuff would be number two. Lunging stuff, kind of a variation of a squat. It's more of a single leg movement, but you can move in different planes of motion. So you can move forward, you can move backwards, you can move side to side, you can move at angles, you can do all kinds of different things with lunges. And it's more of like, I think everyone should be able to get down on one knee in multiple directions and then come back up to a standing position. You want to push stuff, right? So the classic movement here is going to be like a push-up, but there's various different forms of what you can do to simulate this. So you want to be able to push stuff away from you and pull stuff. You want to be able to pull stuff towards you, right? What if you, like, if you're pushing a shopping cart, right? You think of pushing a shopping cart, pulling a shopping cart, pulling a wagon with your kids behind it or grandkids behind it. These are all things that you want to be able to do, right? Like I said, like they're essential parts of everyday life and things you want to do for the rest of your life. You want to be able to carry stuff, like literally walk with things in your hands and walk, a decent distance with them in your hand, right? You want to be able to twist from side to side, so move your torso from side to side, like move around a little bit. That'd be good. You don't want to just be this robot, right? You want to be able to move in different directions. And you want to have some mobility. You want to be able to move your joints, your major joints, through various different ranges of motion the best you can. And those are the basic movements that I think that everyone should be able to do. Like I said, it seems very simple. This is not hard stuff. You pick stuff up, you squat stuff down, you lunge, you push, you pull, you carry, you twist, and you move your body through various different ranges of motions, right? That's really most of the exercises that I give to my clients, honestly. But every single client has different variations of those exercises that I work out with them on, right? And it's due to limits and range of motions, their ultimate goal, what they're trying to do. Some people are athletes, some people are just looking for longevity, some people are looking for optimal body composition. So, taking that into account, their personal preference, their body's limitations, what they like to do, you know, then I pick different variations of exercise for that. But I've coached enough clients. I'm not an expert at this point, but I've coached enough clients to know that there are some common movements for each one of these things that I think will hit most people be able to do. So my goal over the next coming weeks is to show you some of those common movements, like literally demonstrate them to you, show them to you. Some of the more common ones for each one of those variations that I've listed out there. And that way you have a list of exercises that you should be doing. You'll have some demos of different variations of those exercises that should be able to fit a wider range of people and their limitations, their preferences, that type of stuff. And then the last piece is just deciding how many of these things should you do, how frequently should you do them, how do you combine them together, that type of stuff. And that can also be very complex, but we'll start off with something very basic that most people should be able to take and apply to their lives and go from there. So I hope that makes sense. I hope this is going to be an interesting next few weeks and see how it plays out. I hope it plays out the way I hope it to play out, and it's actually useful to everyone. And if you have any feedback or comments or things you want to see or things I might have left off or different variations of different exercises that you have questions about, that type of stuff, please let me know. Please either send me an email, leave a comment on this video, send me a direct message. However you want to reach out is super cool with me. I'm always happy to chat. So please let me know. And with that, I will sign off for the week. It'll be a short video. As always, you can head to my website at rjbhealth.coach. Click the newsletter link at the top and enter your email address to sign up for my newsletter, which I will then email you all the content that I put out on a weekly basis so that you can keep up with all that stuff. And if you're interested in coaching, please jump on that opportunity. You can go to my website, again, rjbhealth.coach. Right on the homepage, there's a scheduled discovery call link button. If you click that and fill out the form, I'll get back to you and we can chat some more about whether we can do some coaching together if that's something you're interested in. So I hope everyone has a good week and do something fun this weekend, and I'll chat to you all next.